Hey everybody, welcome back to Mike Oski's Kitchen. My name is Michael Shefsky. I'm the chef of this kitchen, and if you're tuning in, I hope you're being the chef of yours. We're building an army of chefs of our own kitchens to lay some really good food down on our family's tables and have some conversation and all that kind of good stuff. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that red button, subscribe, because we're making one a week and we're putting it out and we're going strong. Listen, it's fall. I love fall so much. It's my favorite time of year. The coolness in the air, a little wet sometimes, a little rainy, a little drizzly, but boy, do I love fall. But you know what else I love about fall? The food. You have all kinds of warm type food to warm your stomach and warm your chest. Oh, yes, I love fall. Let me think about that. Oh my goodness. Anyway, fall time is good time for me for food, and I love it. But there's a food that I also love, being a Polish guy that I am, called Golumpki. And what Golumpki is, those who don't know, also known as stuffed cabbage rolls. I mean, we all have had it, right? Polish folks, we call it Golumpki. You guys call it stuffed cabbage. Some people call it Polish pigeons, whatever you call this. But we're not making that. But I love it. And if you want to see the recipe for that, it's also on my channel. So just scroll down, you'll find it. But we're going to make Golumpki soup. I love soup at this time of year. It's my favorite time of year for soups because you can fire them up really quick and warm your belly up really good. You can watch it during a game or come in from outside. It's just, oh, it's wonderful. We're making Golumpki soup. Now, there's tons of recipes out there of how to make Golumpki soup. I'm going to show you mine. Pretty simple. It's got minimal ingredients as far as nothing really heavy. I mean, there seems to be a fair amount, some spices, but simple to do. Let me show you what I'm going to be using for this Golumpki soup, and then I'm going to show you how much I'm going to use once we get over to the hot spot, okay? So we're going to use some beef broth, of course, cabbage. Got to have cabbage in your Golumpkis. We have garlic and onion. I'm using instant brown rice. You can use white rice, totally up to you. I have about a pound and a quarter of ground chuck or ground beef. That's totally up to you how you want to get it. You can 80-10 or 80-20, go 90-10, whichever, up to you. Brown sugar. Yeah, I'm going to sweeten it up a little bit. It adds just enough sweetness, but it doesn't kill the flavor. You're going to love it. A couple of cans of tomato sauce, and here are the spices. We got some pepper, we got some salt, paprika, marjoram leaves, love that, some thyme, and finally some bay leaves. So I'll show you what to do with all this. Remember, I'm going to tell you how much to use when we're over there. You're probably seeing it on the screen here, how much I'm putting in, so you got a little head start on me. The only thing you really have to cut up on this one, as easy as it is, we're going to chop up this cabbage, and then we're going to just chop up that onion, and that's it. And we're going to put everything together over at the stove in a hot spot, and we're going to make Golumpki soup. You're going to love it. I'll see you right back here. No, I won't. I'll see you over at the hot spot. I'm going to chop my cabbage and my onion up, and I'll see you over there. All right, folks, hey, let's put this together. I've already chopped up my onions. I've chopped up my cabbage. So here we are at the hot spot. Easy part of the show here, putting it all together. I got my ground beef browning right now. So while it's browning, I want to go ahead and season the beef, because you know me, I want to make sure if the meat's the base of the meal, which this is, I want to make sure that meat tastes perfect, okay? So what we're going to do, we're going to take our teaspoon of thyme. Thyme is on my side. Don't you want to sing that when you hear that? And then our marjoram, another teaspoon. We're taking care of the beef now, okay? And our paprika, a teaspoon. Okay? Now we're going to go ahead and add us some salt and pepper. This is to taste, folks. I just like to sprinkle a little bit in there just to taste it. You can measure it out a teaspoon each. It's up to you. But I just kind of know where I like my stop. There you go. Perfect. Now, we're going to go ahead and mix all this together so those spices integrate into the meat, and you're going to have a nice, excellent meat base with wonderful tastes. I'll be right back, and I'll show you what we're going to do next. This is stage one, or step one, whatever you want to call it. But let's get this beef nice and darkened and cooked up, okay? I'll show you the next step. Right back. Okay, next step. So our beef is browning. There's still a little bit of raw pieces in there. That's what we want right now. We're going to go ahead and add our onion. I just took a medium onion. I just chopped it up. We're going to add this onion in here. We're going to cook this about 8 minutes or so, 10 minutes, because we want to get that onion nice and softened. And then let's go ahead and mix it up so the onion's part of the beef, part of the whole party. Everybody's joining in. So that is step 2. We're going to cook this about 8 to 10 minutes, and I'll see you right back here. All right, we are back. We are back. Next step, simple one. Garlic, 2 to 3 tablespoons. I like garlic. I'm using 3 tablespoons. I'm going to drop that in there. Now it's going to mix it back in with everything, the onions, the spices, and the ground beef that's already brown and ready to go. And I'm going to let that sit for about 2 or 3 minutes, let that garlic kind of just build into the meat, and we want to get that ground beef tasting really good. Now when I come back, it'll be the final step pretty much, and we're going to finish this thing off. So soon you'll be able to eat your Golumpki soup, or your Polish Pidgeon soup, or your cabbage roll soup, whatever you want to call it. But this one's about done. This is that easy. I'll see you right back here in just a couple minutes. All right, folks, we're back, and this is the final step of the process. It's a big step, but it's the best step, because this is what puts it all together, and this is what brings you to the finish line. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to add our beef broth. Again, 32 ounces, 4 cups, whatever you want to call it. Give that a mix real quick. Beautiful. And then we're going to take our tomato sauce. We have 2 cans of tomato sauce, 14 ounces a piece. Drop that in there. Drop that in there. Well, let's mix that in. Kind of looks like Golumpki, doesn't it? That's the plan. That's the plan. We're not done yet, though. All right, hang on. Okay. Now, we're going to take our rice. Our rice, it's raw. We haven't cooked it, so it will cook as we let this thing simmer for about 20 minutes. But I'm going to take a cup of rice. You can use the white, you can use the brown. I'm using the brown, and we're gonna work that in. Let's make it all looking good. Now, of course, salt and pepper. I'm going to shake some salt on it, just enough to make sure I'm getting my salt. And oh, I love my pepper. Oh, those who know me know I like pepper. And so does my family, so we have a good thing with that. Salt and pepper, get a mix on it. Okay, now here comes our brown sugar. 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. Mix that in. Looking so good, smelling good, man. If you guys can smell this, you'd be out of your mind. Now, let me take this guy off for a minute. Final step, star of the show, we're going to add our cabbage in there. About 5 cups of chopped cabbage, folks, about 5 cups. I think I might have a little bit more, but you can measure it out. I cut it and I think, yeah, that looks about like 5 cups. That's what I'm using, about 5. A little bit more probably. So we're going to get this all mixed in. Don't worry, when this thing simmers and boils and cooks for a little bit, the cabbage will get soft, and we'll be ready to eat it. There we go. Looking really good. Final step of the process, the bay leaf. I'm going to put 1, and I'm going to put 2. 2 bay leaves. We'll let them guys sit inside the sauce, let them do their trick. Just keep flipping it over, and what we're going to do is turn the heat back up, get it to a boil for about, I don't know, 5 minutes or so. And then we'll turn it back down, let it simmer for about 15 or 20. And that's about it. I'll show you what it looks like after we're done boiling. So I'm going to fire this thing back up, get it back to a boil. I'll be right back. We're back. Hey, we're done. It's beautiful. Look at this. I got it boiling. We went about 3 or 4 minutes on a boil. You can go 5. Totally up to you, but 5 would be just plenty. You don't want to go too much more. But what we're going to do now, we're going to turn the heat down to about medium-low, take it to simmer, and we're going to cover it. We're going to cook this thing for about 10 or 15 minutes, depending on the rice, maybe 20. Just read the directions on your rice box. You know how to cook it, just as if it's going into water. That's how long you want to cook it in here. So my rice is going to be about 10 minutes, 15. I'm going to keep turning it a few times as we're doing this, and then we're ready to eat. Hey, I'll see you right back here. Once this is done, I'm going to show what it looks like. Hey, folks, we're back, and we have arrived. We've arrived. Our Golumpki soup is done, pretty much. Our Polish Pidgeon soup is done, pretty much. Or whatever you want to call it, stuffed cabbage roll soup is done. Look, what we have to do now, it's cooked. I had about 15 minutes on a simmer with the lid on. I'm going to take it off, see what she looks like. Oh, my goodness. Does that look good? Does that ever look good? Look at that thing. You know what? Let me get my ladle real quick here. Look at that. That's a beaut. That is a beaut, Clark. Now listen, we're gonna take it off the heat. We're gonna put it over here on the cool part of the stove. And we're gonna put our ladle back in here and we're gonna let it sit for about 15 or 20 minutes. And what that's gonna do is gonna thicken up a little bit and cool off. You'll be ready to serve it. Folks, we're done. Hey, real quick, one more step. Before you take it over to serve it to your folks, there are 2 bay leaves in here. You can do one of 2 things. You can do a seek and find the bay leaves, or you can go ahead and, you know, dish the soup out, and whoever has the bay leaves in their bowl, if they find it, they get a $1 bill. Have fun with it, whatever you want to do. Look, 15 minutes or so, I'm gonna let it thicken up. I'm gonna keep mixing it just a little bit as we wait. But after that, I'll see you over at the workstation. We're gonna try this thing, and we're gonna serve it. Hey everybody, welcome back. This is my favorite time of the video. Get to test it, Oh, I can't wait to get into this. Golumpki soup. You gotta try this. If you wanna call it Polish Pidgeon soup, that's fine. If you wanna call it cabbage roll soup, that's fine too. But you gotta try this. It smells amazing. One of those soups that are gonna warm you up on a cool, wet day. Look, I'm gonna jump right in this and give it a shot. See what I think? And if and also, I looked, I didn't find it. I didn't find the bay leaves, so I don't get $1, but that's okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it a shot here. Oh, guys, oh my gosh, that is so good. We'll get a little more shot. I'm gonna sit here and eat this whole thing right there. Perfect. You're gonna love it. Drink your beer, drink your wine, drink whatever you want, water, I don't care. Stay hydrated through this process. I know I do. But listen, make this simple, easy to make. You're gonna love it. Guys, go get this. Golumpki soup, make it on those cold days. Take it to a tailgate, take it to a potluck. It transports very easily. Just throw it into a crock pot and keep it on warm and take it with you. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a part of this. Thanks for being part of building this army of chefs of our own kitchens. You make it fun for me, and I appreciate that. Thanks so much for everything. Enjoy this, make this, and like I always say in my very own special Polish way, na zdrowie.